It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning, and this is City Beat. I'm CJ Carter, and joining me in studio today is Deputy Mayor Kathy Valentino. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see you guys.
Now, if you have a question you'd like to ask Deputy Mayor Valentino, give us a call on the on-air line, 677-8181. So to kick things off, what's been happening around the city?
Well, our city the last week has been busy, always is busy. Just a few things that did take place was the TRCC is always a busy place these days. So we had the 25th annual novice tournament this year, which was actually a memorial tournament for Mr. Burden, who started that. They had 16 teams here. There was also some sled races, like snow machine races that were held just north of the city, which was a very good turnout. It was something that brought a lot of people to the city, and UCN had their open house last week, which they were very happy with the attendance of that.
Oh, good. And a note on that hockey tournament, Thompson team took the cup this year. So
Crazy final game. It was exciting. I think it was 5-4 for one of the teams. I went down and watched. I loved it.
Well, it sounded like a great tournament from what I heard, for sure. So tell me a little bit about your role as Deputy Mayor. What all does that entail? Okay,
so the role of Deputy Mayor is to do any of the things that the mayor can't do or attend while he is out of the city or unavailable. So it would be maybe chairing some of the meetings or doing a lot of speaking at openings of places, or if they request a speaker or representation from the city, then you attend on behalf of the mayor and of council.
Okay. So yesterday, Thompson RCMP responded to two separate bomb threats, one at the airport, one at the provincial building. Now, thankfully, there were no bombs in either location, but in your role as deputy mayor, the mayor was out of town yesterday. So what's the protocol there? Do you call the shots, or are they going to try and reach out to the mayor because thankfully, again, there were no bombs found at either location, but if we were in a state of emergency, what would happen?
Okay, so that's a very good way to see what a deputy mayor does when there is an event like that, which thankfully nothing serious did occur. Obviously, our thoughts are with Brussels because of what's gone on. It's been a bit of a media thing this week, so it was definitely a concern what happened here in the city. So there were two bomb threats. The call comes from City Hall, and it came to me to make me aware of the situation. And then right away, it's also communicated to council. So there is a plan in place, and our administration handled it very well. The communication to myself and to council was immediate, and the communication was from Thompson Fire and Emergency Services and the RCMP to City Hall and then to myself and council. So it was done very well, and there is a good communication process with the RCMP Staff Sergeant Lewis and his staff and Thompson Fire and Emergency, our administration and council. So when this does happen, there is a process and a communication plan in place, and it worked very, very well yesterday. So that was a good example of, I guess, role for myself and for all of council. So big thank you to our administration for how they handled it when the calls came in, because it certainly wasn't calls that anybody wants to handle, but that's kind of the way it is these days. And just for the people out there to know that it's a very serious offense to make these kind of calls, and the RCMP are actively investigating it, and it can result in jail time. So it's a very serious thing to do, and it's definitely not being taken lightly by no means within the city.
Oh, for sure. Now, a quick reminder to those listening, if you have a question you'd like to ask Deputy Mayor Valentino, you can give us a call right now at 677-8181. Now, at last week's City Council meeting, there was a letter read out by Mayor Fenske addressed to him on behalf of the Manitoba Minister of Conservation and Water Stewardship. Would you happen to recall what was in this letter?
Yes, we always have like lobbying efforts with the ministers. One of our committees meets every 2 weeks, and we go through like a lobbying effort with the provincial government ministers and federally. So we have requested a discussion to take place with this minister about Paint Lake Provincial Park and expanding cottage lots and extending the season here in Thompson for our tourist season at the provincial parks. So that's where that letter came from, is we have requested that. And he has responded now saying he would like to set up a meeting with ourselves and with Valet and to further discuss some of our issues regarding Paint Lake, cottage lots, and the extension of the camping season here.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. It's a positive response back.
Oh, for sure. Also, at last week's City Council meeting, there were 3 citizen representatives added to the Communications Committee. Can you explain a little bit about what the Communications Committee is?
Yeah, sure. So we have a committee set up, and the Communications Committee is a new committee that this council has started up. And because it's been new and forming, they kind of met first just with the administration and the council, the 2 council reps on it, to get kind of a guideline or what the process or the goals of this committee will be. And now that they've established that, each one of our committees has citizen reps that attend our committees also. So now they were ready to have citizen reps added to this committee because it was a newly formed committee. So that's where that process came. So that committee will now be in full and will be up and running and will meet just like our other committees meet on a regular basis.
Okay. Now, Easter long weekend coming up starting tomorrow. Happy Easter, by the way.
Yes, happy Easter, happy spring to you guys.
Absolutely. Happy spring indeed. Spring break next week. Now, I understand the rec center has some events going on for the kids while they're out of school. Would you be able to touch on that, kind of what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you can go to our Thompson.ca website for everything that's taking place in the city, and that will also include the hours for our facilities, obviously, with the Good Friday and the Easter Sunday hours. And next week at TRCC, they'll have the shinny going on during the day in the arenas. And the pool will also have a schedule that you can check that out, the Thompson.ca website. And just a note to say about Easter coming and spring break, we really ask the citizens and all of us to be aware that there's going to be a lot more kids around and out on the streets, and I even seen some bikes out. So please, as a safety share to all, be aware that it's going to be a busy, probably 10 days with Easter weekend this year going right into spring break. So we're going to have a busy week with kids around, so please everyone be a little bit more paying attention to the kids out and about.
Oh, absolutely. Was there anything else that you'd like to mention while you were here?
Yeah, I can mention a few things for you guys and for the citizens, that we're kind of getting to the end of our winter work season. So we're starting to prepare now for our spring and summer work. So I guess we can say that it's going to be pothole season. I don't know if that starts today or what the official date of that is, but so
I think it was on the calendar. It was like March 29th or something like that.
I don't know if we have that on our Thompson.ca, but it's definitely pothole season coming up in the very, very near future. So ask our drivers and people just to be aware of that. And if there are some major potholes in your area or that you happen to come across, you can report them and phone them into Public Works at 677-7970. And they'll have crews getting ready to start working on that part of the spring season that's coming up. And also on our Thompson.ca website, you can pay attention to things as we transition into the spring, summer. For instance, the ice will start to go out of the arenas. I think the Gordon Beard Arena will be going out the end of the month, and the CA will be after the 6166 Union Tournament, I believe, on the April 10th. So things like that start to happen when we transition from winter to summer. So be aware of all that, and you can find all that stuff on our website. And just in saying that, there's lots of events that are going to start happening that people need to be aware of. Obviously, for one, the Relay for Life. I think Wally's going to shave his head. You can donate at Co-op. Somebody told me that. The Hope for North Suicide Prevention Conference is coming up. Obviously, as a city, we have neighbors close by in our own region that are struggling with that. So that's a very important conference that's going to be held here. And we also have the Knights of Columbus coming up. For you that might be new to our city, that's a great indoor track and field thing. And our CHTM trade show. So there's lots of springtime events that take place. Just because winter's over, it doesn't mean we've stopped. There's lots going on. So pay attention to that, and you'll see all the ads and stuff on websites, Facebook, newspaper, you guys, right?
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in for this edition of City Beat. Make sure to join us every Thursday at 11:30 to find out what's happening around the city and City Hall. For 102.9 CHTM, I'm CJ Carter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning.